The Bering Strait land bridge theory, the concept that people arrived in North America by crossing an old strip of land between Russia and Alaska, and archaeological evidence of arches dating back to 1600 BC show that our fixation with bridges began as soon as we could build them. From moving bridges to stone bridges, new bridges to antique bridges, these are the world's most spectacular spans. Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco, California. When the 4-year project to span the Golden Gate Strait and connect San Francisco to Marin County was completed in 1937, it was the world's longest and highest suspension bridge. Those records would be kept at the Golden Gate until the 1960s. The Joseph Strauss Art Deco suspension bridge design is famous today in part because to something unusual in the bridge world, color. Golden Gate was painted international orange to complement the pleasant coastal environs, while also standing out against the horizon for sailors. Ponte Vecchio, Florence, Italy. You don't expect to see a market or a retail center when you cross the Golden Gate Bridge. However, it was customary centuries ago for businesses and even dwellings to be built on the second floor of a bridge. The most well-known remaining specimen is arguably Florence's Ponte Vecchio. The stone segmental arch bridge over the Arno River was rebuilt following a flood in 1345, and a 1565 restoration added a second story. Workshops and homes occupied the extra space in the second story, expanding occasionally broader than the original bridge. The Ponte Vecchio is Florence's sole surviving World War II bridge. Harbour Bridge, Sydney, Australia. The coat hanger of steel that crosses the Sydney Harbour has a longer history than it appears. Opened in 1932 after 8 years of construction, the steel bridge features 6 million hand-driven rivets. The extreme sun in Sydney required hinges that could handle the steel expanding and contracting in the extreme temperatures. At 160 feet wide, the bridge was the widest longspan bridge in the world until 2012, and crosses over 3,700 feet with the steel arch 440 feet above the water. Brooklyn Bridge, New York City. The Brooklyn Bridge took 14 years to build, but when it opened in 1883 to connect Manhattan and Brooklyn, the single span of 1,595 feet hung by 4 cables was breathtaking. It is still the case. The project, designed by John A. Roebling and built by his son Washington Roebling and his wife, Emily, has become a lasting emblem for bridge construction across the world. The bridge's fame may have been established by P.T. Barnum's 1884 spectacle of herding a herd of 21 elephants across it. But now, everything about the Brooklyn Bridge is iconic, from the 15.5-inch diameter cables made up of 5,434 parallel steel wires to the towers made of limestone, granite, and cement. Akashi Kaikyo Bridge, Kobe, Japan. The world's longest suspension bridge is 12,800 feet long. After 12 years of building, it finally opened in 1998. The 3-span bridge spans the Akashi Strait, with 190,000 kilometers of wire connecting the two towers. Earthquakes, severe winds, and rough sea currents pounding against the towers have to be factored into the bridge design. Rialto Bridge, Venice, Italy. The first bridge to span Venice's Grand Canals, this 15th-century construction by Antonio da Ponte withstood detractors and outlasted some stiff competition. Michelangelo even proposed a design for the intended crossing. Ships can pass beneath the capped Venetian architecture. The design, which took 3 years to complete, was 24 feet high and 75 feet wide to accommodate stores on the sides. Helix Bridge, Singapore. The Helix Bridge, inspired by the shape of DNA, provides Singapore pedestrians 918 feet of architectural curiosity and creative expression. The Marina Bay Bridge curves and sweeps with different steel designs, opening up at 5 places for observation decks. The visual spectacle is provided by the steel tubes. They would span 7,380 feet if they were straightened and set end to end. Nanpu Bridge, Shanghai, China. The Nanpu Bridge spans the Huangpu River with a 7-lane, 2,500-foot cable stay component. But, to be honest, the 4 miles of bridge that do not span the river are the most intriguing. A circular elevated approach spans from the ground and arcs around, bringing cars to the height of the crossing in the heart of Shanghai's busy downtown. Tower Bridge, London, UK. Tower Bridge opened on the east side of London in 1894, following an 8-year endeavour to build a bridge across the Thames. There are 2 types of bridges, suspension and bascule. The 213-foot-tall towers on either end of a 200-foot central lift span suspend the bridge to the coastline on either side, while also acting as the foundation for the bascule span, which may rise and drop to accommodate ship traffic. Octavio Frias de Oliveira Bridge, São Paulo, Brazil. The design of the 453-foot-tall bridge spanning the Pinheiros River in São Paulo, Brazil, more than its size, impresses. The cable-stayed bridge's X-shaped tower, which opened in 2008, has 2 bridge decks that cross within the 250-foot-wide tower. The inclusion of lights on the wires adds to the design's interest. Royal Gorge Bridge, Cannon City, Colorado. The Royal Gorge Bridge, the tallest bridge in the Western Hemisphere, rises 955 feet over the Arkansas River. The suspension bridge spans 880 feet between the towers and is 1,260 feet long in total. The 1,292 wooden planks that make up the largely pedestrian tourist attraction, passenger vehicles were permitted across the bridge at various times, were built in 1929 to match attractions in the area that include parachuting, a gondola, ziplining near the bridge, and even a skycoaster that swings riders over the edge of the gorge. Székely Chain Bridge, Budapest, Hungary. When the Second Chain Bridge opened over the Danube in 1849, English engineer William Tierney Clark gave Budapest something to brag about. The cast iron and stone suspension bridge was one of the longest when it was opened. While it was nearly completely destroyed by the German troops in 1945, the bridge's towers remained, enabling for rebuilding in 1949. Đurđevica Terra Arc Bridge, Montenegro. The Great Đurđevica Terra Bridge, between the towns Budivica and Trenčica, is an extremely architectural feat of contemporary architecture, a symbol and unmissable view of the Tara River Canyon. It was constructed in 1938-1940. When built, it was Europe's tallest reinforced concrete road bridge and one of the world's largest and most magnificent transportation infrastructures of its kind. With its sturdy pedalunum structure, the main arch rises above the canyon over 150 meters deep, with a span of 116 meters. April 25th Bridge, Lisbon, Portugal. The bridge was named Salazar Bridge, Ponte Salazar, from its opening on August 6, 1966, until 1974, after Portuguese Prime Minister António de Oliveira Salazar, who authorized its construction. The bridge was renamed for April 25, the day of the Carnation Revolution, which toppled the vestiges of Salazar's administration. It is also known as the Tagus River Bridge, in Portuguese. Ryan Bridge, Greece. The Ryan Bridge has a suspended deck of 2,883 meters, 4 pylons, instead of 2, and a reference span of 560 meters. The Ryan Bridge connects the Peloponnese, southern Greece, to the Greek mainland and is located near the western end of the Gulf of Corinth, in Greece. The bridge also connects two important roads, the Patras-Athens-Thessaloniki Highway, part of the European Highway, and the western axis of the Kalamata-Patras-Igoumenitsa Highway. The 5-span bridge was finished in May 2004, reducing the time required to traverse the Gulf of Corinth from 45 minutes to roughly 5 minutes, by ferry. At the moment, 10,000 cars pass the bridge each day.